guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he's 26 years old and he's from Sweden, and he's going to share his story about his sister and how she went from being very traditional and conservative and all that to her third year in college coming out as a complete and crazy nut job feminist. And how she's completely transformed and all that in all areas of her life. And in particular, this story dealing with the fact that she once had a boyfriend at the time who was a great guy and all that. And she ended up destroying that relationship, cheating on him and doing all that because that's what empowered women do. And the guy moved on. And the guy found himself a great girl, younger than her, beautiful, Thai, and submissive. And guess what? He's getting married to her. And guess what happened when she found out? Had a complete meltdown. Because obviously he's marrying a young woman who's obviously not an feminist like her, and she's lost her shit and all this other drama about that. Quite entertaining. And I'm doing this one, A, to help this guy out because he's asked for my help with both his situation with her, but also with the guy, the ex-boyfriend. Because you see, by the way, the ex-boyfriend, she got in touch with him after she found that he's getting married, and is trying to change his mind, and it's starting to work. So he's asking me to do this video to potentially help this guy out. He doesn't go back to her. And this is his own sister, but he knows how nuts she is. So we're going to be I'll be giving my advice on this particular subject, but also asking you guys in the audience to comment. Please comment away to help this guy out that he doesn't make the mistake of going back to this chick. But anyhow, guys, this is an entertaining one, and yet another example, other side of the world I might add, over in Sweden. It isn't just here in the United States, about these gals that totally get indoctrinated when they go off to college and they completely change as people, and just a mess it is. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. So it starts off, he says, hello SSM. I'm a 26-year-old male and new follow your channel. I just watched your video about feminists getting enraged by men finding Thai wives that you uploaded last year. While I was watching it, I couldn't help but agree with almost everything you said in the video. Why do I agree with everything you said? Because I'm currently experiencing it from a third person's perspective. My sister, a 33-year-old female, is a huge, and he wrote that in giant letters in bold, huge feminist. We're from Europe, and she's studying in Roskilde University in Sweden. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Anybody from Sweden can correct me in the comment section. We're not Swedish, but our family has been residing in the area for a couple of years now. Also, yes, I've seen your video about the feminist criminal niece who wants to go to University of Copenhagen, and I'm currently waiting for the final update. That's an inside joke for you guys that saw that video. Wow, his sister sounds like a whole lot of fun. Long story short, she cheated on her boyfriend of almost 6 years when and then he found an Asian girlfriend, and she lost her goddamn mind. So, my sister, who we'll call Mary, wasn't always like this. She was very conservative and traditional for the longest time. She met her boyfriend, we'll call him Kurt, when he was freelancing for our mother's advertising company. Kurt was the son of some family. He and Mary had a lot in common, and they started dating after a couple of weeks. I wasn't really close to Kurt, but he was a great guy, ambitious, had money, and was smart with it. Very religious, and was fit. According to Mary, he was the perfect guy, and she could not imagine her life without him. However, things had changed when Mary entered her third year of university. I wonder what happened when she started her third year at university. Can anybody guess? Well, you're about to see. The changes were significant. She would start preaching about injustices nonstop. Kept dyeing her hair in different colors every freaking week. Put at least 10 different made-up pronouns on her social media. And of course, started to, wait for it guys, trash talk men. To this day, I have no idea what the heck happened to my sister. Overnight, she went from someone that was respectful and fun to be around to this annoying piece of crap that I loathe to be around. Well, my friend, you are definitely blunt. And I'm glad, even though she's your sister, that she's pushed you too far. And you see her for what she is. You know, I'm all for absolutely loving your family, being loyal to them, but when they become just pure garbage and bring turmoil into your life, that's why I say the loyalty drops. And he's writing this not to help her, guys. He's writing this to help this dude he's talking about, Kurt. I'll tell you what happened. She went to school, probably took some course, probably some gender studies course or some course on feminism or some damn thing, and started getting indoctrinated. and overnight. And look at the stereotypes, guys. Changing her hair every damn week. Start talking about injustices in the world. All these different pronouns next to her name. Trashing men. It's the same thing over there as it is over here. And she's absolutely miserable. Has this experience added joy to her life? No, it's made her miserable. But you know what? That's on her. Now let's see how this thing progresses, or actually degresses. Well, eventually she became a carousel rider while dating Kurt. Imagine that. Because you can't be strong and empowered nowadays if you're not only riding the carousel, but have a boyfriend and riding the carousel while you're with the boyfriend. Because that's what strong, empowered types do. He was a very busy person, so he found out in the worst possible way. As Kurt was going home one night, he bumped into Mary with her tongue down another dude's throat in the elevator. I'm not really sure about the details, as I got it secondhand sources, but Mary's reason for cheating was that she needed to be free sexually to find herself, and that monogamy was, wait for it, misogynistic. You know she's gone off the deep end. You know she's been doing keg stands of the pink Kool-Aid when monogamy is labeled misogynistic. And by the way, I'd like to mention something here. You know, I get, as you can imagine, emails and comments and direct messages on Instagram from some people that don't like me very much, particularly women. And they don't like it, and they've labeled me that word lots of times. And especially when ones that want to have free, open relationships, and I obviously call it out for what it is, they don't like that. I've been labeled a lot of nasty things. So I will double and triple down on that whenever I do those videos. Monogamy is misogynistic. What a steaming pile of crap. I wanted to slap my sister in the back of her head for actually telling that to Kurt. He didn't deserve any of that BS. He treated her good and actually respected her, and this is how she repaid him. There you go. And one might ask, how is she hooking up with all these dudes? Is she some raving effeminist? Well, I'm going to guess she was probably thin then. And let's be honest here, most guys, if a girl's at least average looking, they'll hook up with her if she wants to. And that's probably what was going on there. I know you don't want to think about your sister that way, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's how she repaid this good boyfriend of hers. But you're going to see this guy moves on. Sort of. Of course, our family berated Mary. Our parents viewed Kurt like a son. And he even got the blessing to propose to Mary for my dad 2 weeks before she cheated. Mary, however, like all feminists who desire freedom, showed no remorse whatsoever. Well, of course not, because they're always right and everybody else is wrong. It's a freaking cult. She washed herself of all doubt and guilt by saying that Kurt had forgiven her after a long talk before their breakup. So that means he let bygones be bygones. Problem is, it sounds like Kurt, although a good guy, probably sounds like a guy any of us would want to be friends with, is built up such an attachment with her over the years that he obviously, well, it was too nice, too giving, all that. And she took full advantage of it. Our mother was the most furious at their breakup, and that had put a strain between the friendship of her and Kurt's mother, who was also a business partner. Kurt's family had decided to distance themselves from our family for a while, meaning my mother had lost a big client. Eventually, though, my mother and Kurt's family mended their relationship and everything was back to normal, with the exception of my sister being an extremely unpleasant person to be around. Well, if your sister is bringing all her effing BS mumbo-jumbo into your house and causing turmoil for your family, this is when your family, I hope, was being strong and saying, cut that shit out. We don't want to hear about your freaking drama and all the injustice of the world. Where's that girl that we knew our whole life? Where's that girl we raised, okay? You're going to act like this, you're going to be disrespectful and all that, you can get the hell out of here. This is the problem when people allow these types of things to go on in their family. You know? It doesn't matter how great she was prior to her turning to the dark side, if you will, but now that she's acting like this, you can't allow it. Otherwise, she'll just keep going and going and going. Until present day, Kurt and his family had invited my mother and father to a wedding, specifically Kurt's wedding. He moved on. From the moment they told me, I immediately told them not to go and throw that invitation in the trash. I knew that Mary was an insufferable person and she would somehow try to make this all about herself. My warning fell on deaf ears and I decided not to only attend Kurt's wedding, but to congratulate him on their shared social media account by sharing a post by Kurt's current fiancée. It was a picture of a very expensive ring on her finger. Now, your parents should be able to go to their freaking wedding of their friend's son, okay? and be able to congratulate him and all that. They should, for God's sakes. However, he is accurate in the way his sister responded, and wait till you see what happened, because she does lose her damn mind. I knew a shitstorm was going to erupt. You're putting that mildly. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. I just sit back and waited for the show to start. The very next day, I got a call from my mother in tears due to a huge fight between her and Mary. Mary was actually outraged by Kurt's decision to get married to another woman. But why SSM? Why ever could my effing sister be angry that an ex is happy? Well, SSM, her reason actually has some depth to it. Is it logical? No, of course not. It's nonsense, but it does have some sort of idiotic depth to it. And wait till you listen to this. And by the way, he said his mom called him crying because of a fight with her. You know, can you imagine the disrespectful shit she's saying to his mom to get his mom crying? Clearly, mom is not laying down the law with the daughter, or the father is. So according to Mary, Kurt is only marrying this Thai woman because she is subservient, and he was only exploiting her due to his, wait for it, toxic masculinity. Mary's line of thinking is that Kurt is only dating a Thai woman because they tolerate his nonsense and don't advocate for women's rights when they are being oppressed by, again, wait for it, misogynistic white men. Guess what? Newsflash. It's still considered to be that a lot of Asian women that live in Asia are quite traditional and feminine. And that's kind of like the last great hope for guys in the West. And as you can imagine, certain women that are obviously have been doing keg stands of the pink Kool-Aid, the effing Kool-Aid, don't like that these guys get together with those submissive girls, feminine girls, traditional girls. And so they obviously label the guys as taking advantage of them, blah, 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 which is ridiculous. I mean, last week I was getting takeout at a Thai restaurant, and the family that runs it, they had this girl working for them. Obviously, she's family, probably mid-20s. She's as girly and as feminine as can be. Beautiful girl. And it's like, don't let these American women mess with your head, because you can just tell she's very feminine girl. Beautiful girl. But I hope that she doesn't stay too long and let these American effinists, especially living here in Massachusetts, have an impact on her. But God forbid a man goes for a gal like that, and now, we're the bad guy for that. Gee, why would we want to be with these effeminist types? Because, I don't know, they're miserable. After the call by mother, I went to Mary's house to confront her about upsetting our parents. We had a back and forth, but it was like talking to a brick wall. You're not going to get through to her, dude. You'd have more luck with talking to the brick wall than your sister. Bro, I wouldn't have anything to do with your sister, okay? I talk about videos all the time. I know you're new to the channel, but I talk about all the time with regards to family. If you got family that are good to you and loyal and supportive, then hold on to them and cherish them and respect them and all that. But if you have family members, and I don't care who it is, are bringing drama and turmoil to your life and are assholes and all that, cut them out. Have nothing to do with it. I'd have nothing to do with your fucking sister, dude. She's a piece of shit. And it gets worse. I should have just went to the pub instead and had a pint instead of trying to reason with Mary. She deflected all blame to Kurt and was actually trying to get in contact with him for some reason. When I told her to leave him the F alone, she exploded at me saying, now he wrote this in bold, she is the only woman who can fix Kurt's problematic behavior. The whole conversation felt deflating and demeaning, so I just decided to leave her flat. You're never going to win an argument with a woman, bro, okay? They're going to throw all sorts of shit at you and twist things around and emotions and all that stuff, let alone an effeminist. You know the saying, don't ever argue with a drunk or a fool? Well, they ought to add a feminist. Never argue with a drunk, a fool, or a feminist. The last thing this dude needs is her coming back into his life. You think this is where the story ends, but oh no, it gets worse. Actually, way worse. Kurt had reached out to me and my parents and put us in a group chat. Just recently, he's thinking about getting back together with Mary. Smack. Is this guy out of his goddamn mind? She cheated on him probably multiple times. He's turned to a complete nut job. She's not the person he fell in love with. And he's thinking about getting back with her, even though he's engaged with this beautiful Thai woman who's younger than her, by the way. He hasn't done anything yet, but he was willing to throw away his engagement and his new relationship for my train wreck sister. I gave my piece and told him that he should block Mary and never contact her again, and my parents did agree, though they used much nicer words than I did. Well, your parents need to start being more realistic on who she's become. But probably like it's our little girl and blah, blah, blah. Kurt, however, says that Mary has changed and is ready to settle down now, and she has had her fun and has matured into a smart, loving person who's ready to be a wife. Oh my God, is she drugged this guy? This is not who she is. The girl he knew that he was involved with, fell in love with years ago, this isn't her. She turned to the dark side. And as Yoda said, once you go down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. She's turned to the dark side. She's 33. And this started when she was 21 or so in college. She's turned to the dark side 10 years ago. He'd be out of his mind to get back together with her. Kurt, hang on a second. I have a feeling that Kurt never really got over my sister and is jumping at the chance to get back together with her despite her treating him like trash beforehand. Kurt has admitted that she had contacted him 2 weeks ago and they have been in contact ever since. Yeah, and she knew exactly what buttons to push with him to, get him back. She even got him to admit that he was a toxic white male who needed to be more woke. Also, she convinced him that her body count doesn't matter. This guy believes this. This guy gets back with her. He deserves everything that comes to him. First time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you. However, he says that he doesn't want to call off his wedding with his current fiancée, but his heart calls for his first love. Smack. Bro, you need to go find this Kurt dude, take him out for a pint, and give him a good SSM pimp hand. Because he needs a good smack to learn his lesson. He'll be throwing away his freaking life if he gets back with his chick. The universe did him a favor by what happened. But going back to her? No way. So right now, this is where I'm at. My parents, especially my mother, feels intense regret for letting my sister know about Kurt's upcoming marriage. This is on Kurt. I suspect that my mother wanted to rub it in Mary's face that Kurt was getting married for childish, petty reasons, but look where that has taken us. My sister is a slightly overweight, there's a surprise, 33-year-old woman who has hit the wall hard, while his fiancée is about 7 years younger than him and looks way more fit than my sister. I can't fathom why he's second-guessing himself. Because he was with your sister for 6 years, and he just probably refuses to believe that she is as bad as she is. And she was pulling her feminist crap with him, but she obviously was saying the right things because she knows what buttons to push. That's what they do. And again, like I said, she turned to the dark side. She ain't coming back. So now I'm writing to you to hopefully get your insights on this. And if you ever read this, I'll send your video to Kurt to knock some good sense into him. If anything new comes up, I'll be happy to update and maybe answer some questions in the comments. Thank you, SSM. Hoping that your 2022 is drama-free, unlike mine. Of course my 2022 is drama-free because I don't allow drama and shit into my life. I cut out the drama out of my life whenever it comes in. Okay, bro, so thank you for writing in, and you are doing this, you're the guy Kurt a service. Whether you decide to show this to him or not, who knows, but he'll be out of his mind to get back with her. He will be miserable because she's changed. She's not the same girl that he was with all those years ago. You say that back in the day she was conservative and traditional and fun and all that. That person's gone, okay? And if this guy gave up what sounds like could be a really good, traditional, beautiful, young future wife, even though I have my opinion about marriage, you all know that, he'll be out of his mind because he marries her and it'll be even worse. Okay, this guy's going to be miserable, and she's not the same person that she once was. Sadly, she knows how exactly to push his buttons and manipulate him and all that. And I'm willing to bet you, probably, that if he broke it off with the girl he's marrying, the pretty young Thai girl who's 7 years younger, I might add, the second he did that, then all of a sudden your sister won't be interested anymore. And this whole song and dance about she's trying to better him and embrace the woke side or some horse shit that she said, no, it's ridiculous. It is all ridiculous. And again, if what your sister, her mindset, her views in the world was such a great positive thing, why is she so miserable? Why does she bring misery to everybody that's around her, right? I mean, it's unbelievable, but that's how it is. And these types don't change. I've seen articles sometimes where women who are in the twilight of their life, if you will, 60s and 70s, and they're getting older and realize that they've been lifelong effinists, and then they sing the blues because they missed out on everything and realize they were brainwashed. Well, I say too bad to them. That's going to be her. But you know what? I would have nothing to do with your sister beyond, like, obviously you get together at family gatherings, but she sounds like a piece of garbage. I'll be honest with you here. But your parents have been way too easy on her. They should have been way tougher and not allow her to get this way and let this continue on. But you said flat out, your mom obviously when they were talking to Kurt was way nicer about it. Big mistake, but you don't have to be nice. So if you send this to Kurt, if you're watching this, because Kurt's your code name, do not go back with her. You're out of your damn mind. Your life's gonna be ruined. Marry this pretty young girl that you're engaged to, who's Thai. I wish you the best, but do not let yourself fall for this shit. And cut this Mary character. I know Mary is her code name. Cut her out of your life completely. She's garbage. She's trash. And go from there. So, bro, the guy wrote this story. Spread this word. I hope it helps him out. And definitely keep me updated as to what happens next. I'd very much like to hear that. So, guys, for those of you who are watching this, and I know people are going to be watching this all over the world, comment. Comment to this guy, to the Kurt character here. He should not go back with a crazy F-ness. The misery it's going to bring in his life, okay? Tell him about how the gals know exactly what buttons to push and to manipulate to get you to get what they want. Don't let this guy make this mistake. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to I said that part. Comment below, obviously. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.